Previously on Power Reviews. Borrowing that camera. Thanks a lot. The good doctor has modified our camcorder with a ton of new bells and whistles, including a cloaking device.
Stolen.
If there's anything I can do to make it up to you, you make sure to let me know.
Power surge.
Until then.
Perfect.
I will let you know that I had a great deal of valuable electronics in my apartment.
And you want to stay
Here. Yes.
And now, Database Rangers Power Review. Greetings, Ranger fans.
Salutations.
And welcome to Power Reviews.
I still can't believe you told him he could live here.
I still can't believe you set his apartment on fire. Speaking of
Is
which...
box 47B over there?
Yeah, it's right here.
What are you doing?
Just working on the show.
Don't you need a camera for that?
Well, I'm rehearsing right now, just getting everything down. Hard work is the key, you know, and memorization. Two keys, really. Sort of like one's the deadbolt and the other is... You know what? It's not important.
Whatever.
Anywho, where was I?
We were about to summarize the events of the previous episode.
Right. Wait, where did you go just now?
To get my note cards, of course.
Okay.
Now let's see. Yes. The Rangers got new Zords.
Alright then, well, let's take a look at episode 4 of Power Rangers Megaforce, Stranger Ranger. Our episode once again begins with pure, undistilled awesomeness. This time with extra ninja goodness and a guest spot by Ryu Ranger.
However, this appears once again to be a dream by Megaforce Red.
Why do I keep having these dreams?
Because you subconsciously love toying with my emotions.
Aboard the insectoid ship, Creepox presents Admiral Malcor with his latest monster, Dragonflay, choosing to forego a strategy in favor of strength and speed. Obviously the mark of a master tactician.
Later, when Emma spots Troy at the brain freeze, she takes a break from helping Shailesh with the recycling to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, it's nothing. Just been having these strange dreams lately.
Dreams, you say? Obviously not relevant. As they suddenly notice the large crowd that's been gathering, Shailesh clues them in to what's been going on.
That guy over there, he's saying that he's the Red Power Ranger.
And you want to know what I call that little move? A typical Tuesday.
But for me, it was Tuesday.
Emma asks if Troy intends to do anything about this, but he decides to let the faker have his fun and focuses on taking out the recycling instead.
As Megaforce Red tends to this task, he ponders how best to improve their skills to better accomplish their goals of defeating the insectoids. Nice to see that at least one of the Rangers is taking their responsibilities seriously.
A dropped cup inspires him, and Troy sets up a training course out in the woods, once again facing off against his age-old foes, the water bottles. This is going to be a thing, isn't it? So while Troy sees how well his stuntman can maneuver the course blindfolded, the others join Emma at the brain freeze.
Megaforce Rangers Black and Blue are both concerned over the imposter's boasting, but Megaforce Yellow dismisses it as inconsequential.
It's just some guy looking for attention. You can relate, right?
Ouch.
Burn.
Speaking of burning, Dragonflay arrives and gets busy attacking the city.
First the buildings, and next the whole world.
Truly, a master tactician.
Go Santensu notify Troy about the attack, then quickly contact the rest of the team. I wonder if Emma realized that Troy never came back from taking out the recycling. I mean, you tend to notice when somebody just disappears and...
Is box 33Q with you?
Yeah, it's right here.
Set it aside. I'll be there soon.
Before they leave, a bystander runs in and alerts everyone to the monster attack. After some pressuring from the crowd, Fakey McFakerson decides to go out and face it himself. Well, it looks like that problem is about to solve itself. The others dash out the fire exit for a quick instamorph, but Sir Lies-A-Lot beats them to the scene. Now it looks like we have another geographical quandary on our hands, as you may be wondering how a civilian managed to beat the Rangers to the scene of the battle. Well, you see...
The monster was at the front of the building, and the Rangers exited via the rear, so they had a greater distance to traverse.
Wait, where were you before?
Routine systems check. You didn't want to risk being vaporized again, did you?
No.
The Rangers arrive on the scene, and Megaforce Red gets the foolish civilian to safety.
Unfortunately, it looks like they should have been keeping their eyes on Dragonfly, as his super speed allows him to attack unseen.
However, Megaforce Red is able to use his prior training to detect the atmospheric vibrations created by the monster, sense his movements, and strike against him.
It's at this point that he of the fiery pants returns, creating the perfect distraction for Creepox to join his monster in battle.
After briefly debating the value of knowing one's enemy,
I don't want to understand you.
have I mentioned his keen tactical mind? Creepox swats away the attacking Megaforce Red. When the other Rangers join in, he retreats with Dragonfly in tow.
With the insectoids gone, Jake is ready to chew out Imposter Damas for the trouble he's caused. But Troy is a lot more understanding.
Listen, what's your name?
Jordan.
I know you want to help, but it takes special powers and serious training to fight these monsters.
And in this case, arbitrary selection by an oversized wall ornament.
Troy takes the rest of the team back to the makeshift training course, but the curious Jordan refuses to stay behind and attempts to follow them into the forest. As the unmorphed Rangers learn the ways of blindfold bottle foo, the wannabe draws ever nearer to discovering their secret, coming closer and closer until...
Is that 33Q?
Yeah, here you go.
Good.
Where did you go this time?
Secondary systems check. The civilian happens upon their training course, only to find the Megaforce Rangers have already morphed and are waiting for him.
In an attempt to drive home their point and explain the dangers of the water bottle menace, they allow Jordan to try out the training course himself.
He, of course, fails miserably.
I get it. I'm no superhero.
Well, now that that's done.
Well, we don't always feel like heroes either.
Really?
So maybe the best way you could help the world is by just being yourself.
You guys done moralizing yet? Oh, good. Back to recycled attack footage.
Better be careful. You'll get more than you bargained for.
Very intimidating. Once again, using their ability to sense the wind.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
Megaforce Red detects the arrival of Creepox and battles him as the others occupy themselves with Dragonfly.
The two have a brutal battle, with the Insectoid General clearly having the upper hand, as they extol the virtues of their respective races.
We insects were on Earth long before you, and we'll be here long after you're gone.
We have the ability to learn and get better all the time. That's why we train. But most of all, even if we fall 100 times, we never stay down.
Fortunately, Creepox has a considerably lower tolerance for pain than expected, and a double strike from the Dragon Sword forces him to retreat.
Meanwhile, the others make good use of Troy's training to shoot down Dragonfly with their Mega Blasters, before summoning the miniature versions of the Sea Brother Zords to take him down with a Sea Blast.
That works so much better than my complicated schemes. Zombats!
The five Rangers reunite and summon the Megazord to face the resurrected Dragonfly, but find themselves unable to keep up with the monster's speed.
I'm exhausted. You need to take over.
Troy!
Sorry.
We've got this, Troy.
Thanks.
Is he really too tired to pilot, or is he just bored?
I don't know. Also, didn't he just say...
Even if we fall 100 times, we never stay down.
I guess that must have been number 101.
Megaforce Rangers, black and yellow, exert their command over the legs of the Megazord in an attempt to pick up the pace.
Both of us together, Jake. Take it to the next level.
Or choice of words.
Their determination unlocks the Land Brothers power card, allowing them to summon their new Dino, Beetle, and Rhino Zords.
I knew you and I would make a great couple.
Don't get any ideas.
Good save. They combine with the new Zords to form the Land Gosei Great Megazord, jetting forward and finishing off Dragonfly with some high-flying kicks.
Victory charge! Red strike!
Back at the Brain Freeze, the crowd congratulates Jordan on defeating the monster, but he interrupts them to come clean.
The Power Rangers are true heroes. And they're great people, too. I mean, they were super nice to me even after I, lied.
He begs them for their forgiveness, and, quite realistically, they refuse and reject him for his deception.
You're a big fat phony!
At the counter, though, there is one person who congratulates him for his honesty.
I'm Troy. Jordan.
As Shailesh turns to serve them, he trips and drops some ice cream, and Jordan realizes that he may have learned some new tricks after all. And that's the end of our episode. So, what did we think of it? Well,
Nothing good ever comes of that sound.
who could it be this time? Hi.
Hi? Is Guy there?
Yes. Please transfer these to the sock drawer and touch nothing else.
Bye.
Bye. It was nice to see you again. What?
The review.
Right. Who numbers their socks? Why don't you start?
Very well. This was a competent morality tale, emphasizing the dangers inherent in protecting the world, while also demonstrating the importance of honesty and training. The latter part I find particularly striking, since these Rangers had not been shown training at any point prior to this. This also acts as a counterpoint to the previous episode, taking the concept that anything is possible through dangerous overconfidence, and tempering it with a focus on hard work and knowing your limits. They also attempt to squeeze in one additional moral about the persistency of humanity, but this is largely undermined by Megaforce Red's abject performance in the Megazord cockpit.
Yeah, that was pretty weak sauce. One thing that was nice about this episode, though, was how they chose to convey these morals through the character of Jordan. Not only was having someone pass as a ranger a surprisingly original idea, and no, I'm not counting Bulk and Skull here, but it also provided an audience avatar for all those kids who want to be just like the Power Rangers. In general, I find that having a tertiary character learn the lesson is a great way to convey these morals to younger audiences, while still allowing the Rangers to act as role models. This was a very prevalent technique during Season 1, but has all but disappeared during recent years. As a result, when the show does lean heavily on the morals, we often end up with Rangers that are so flawed that we barely recognize them as heroes anymore. The other advantage is that we get to know our heroes better through seeing how they interact differently with characters outside the main cast. Jake shoots his mouth off, Noah is reserved and curious, Emma is worried and sympathetic, Gia is dismissive and focused on the task at hand, and Troy is eager to teach, help, and understand. Unfortunately, that brings us to the biggest weakness of this episode, Andrew Gray's performance as Troy. Now, this may seem hypocritical, as I did provide a number of excuses for the Samurai cast, but the big difference here is that they didn't have much to work with. From the first few minutes of the first episode, each member of the Megaforce cast was clearly defined in terms of mindset and personality. And while the rest of the cast has been solid in portraying these characters, Gray
Displays the level of passion I would expect from a high school book report on the intricacies of wood grain.
Yeah. I don't mean to bash the guy, as he has been showing improvement. That's just not saying much. Which is a shame because I think that Troy has tremendous potential as a character. He is incredibly focused, disciplined, and idealistic, is constantly trying to think of new ways to defeat their enemies, and is willing and able to impart that knowledge through teaching. Basically, he's everything that a rookie Red Ranger and leader should be, but rarely is. And that's not even getting into his mysterious past, his prophetic dreams, or his apparent narcolepsy. What?
Now you're reaching. There's a difference between a sleeping disorder and a disordered script.
Fair enough. Overall, this is a fairly solid, well-executed episode, even if it does go a bit overboard with the moralizing and suffers somewhat from a weak performance by the focus character. However, if you don't like one-off characters and PSA elements in your PR, then it might not be to your liking.
Indeed. So join us next week when we'll be discussing Power Rangers Megaforce Episode 5, United We Stand.
Until then, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.